To me, a bookworm is just somebody who has ever, once in their life, been lost in a book, transported to another world, and had that experience of being like fully immersed in a book. You're a bookworm. Congratulations. Hey guys, Emily Jean if you're new here, and I just found this Quora article that I had to go through with you guys because it's, well, what do you think about people who read a lot? And I'm so curious what the responses are. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed was the grammatical error. What do you think of the people who reads a lot? What do we think? Okay, so Hatarth Parmer says, it is dire misrepresentation when the one who reads a lot is thought of as having thick glasses, unkempt hair, disheveled clothes, and a really drab physical appearance. Insert picture of me in my natural state. They are also considered to be living in their own fantasy worlds and largely inattentive to the goings-on of the world. In essence, contrary to the popular beliefs, readers are actually more assiduous than anyone when it comes to knowing current affairs. Additionally, their philosophy of life is enviable too, pragmatic and contented. Okay, I'm going to stop there because that's a long one. I don't think this is right either way. I don't think all readers are super connected into current affairs, and I don't think all readers are disconnected from current affairs. My type of reading is definitely more disconnected from current affairs. I definitely, in the past, have used reading to escape from this physical reality, although now as I'm getting older, I'm definitely getting more curious about physics and the universe and time and space and kind of that piece of current affairs. Okay, Mudit Yadav says, a stereotype regarding people who read a lot is that they are nerdy, introverted, and reserved. However, my brother and best friend are voracious readers, and they absolutely break that stereotype. Further, readers are very good listeners as well. They have the patience to listen to an author for days together, so they do have the patience to listen to you without waiting for an opportunity where you stop talking and they pounce. That's a very simple but rare quality. I would say, yeah, I definitely think that readers make great listeners. The readers that I know who read avidly definitely seem to be the better listeners of my friend group, although most of my friend group are readers, so I'm not sure if that's a good scale to judge people on, but it would make sense, that connection between being able to consume information without verbally engaging allows you to be a good listener too, training that skill. Ankit Gupta says, I think they are cool. If a person is partying and another one is reading, I would definitely prefer the reading one. People who read a lot are good investors. They are officially investing their time upon themselves. It is most probable that they are introverts. They have a variety of perspective about their surroundings, and most of these are pretty amazing. P.S. I feel more comfortable and connected around people who read. I love that. I mean, I'm definitely going to be drawn to the quieter person at the party usually. If somebody were reading a book at a party, I would definitely be drawn to them. But I don't necessarily think that all readers are introverts. I think it takes somebody who can sit down and be still and quiet. I don't think that necessarily means that you are an introvert, though. Okay, Pamela B. Zohar says, no, I don't think there is anything off about a person who reads a lot. I think because I've been a reader since before I could read, always looking at my mom's books, always wanting to just hold a book in my hands, I never really thought about judging people who read a lot. So this is really interesting perspective. How much is too much anyways? Besides, in any reasonable group of people, I'm the one who reads too much. I don't find it a particular problem most of the time. I enjoy reading, and as hobbies go, it is relatively inexpensive. I don't know about that one. I definitely, when you lean on the library, it can be really inexpensive, but I think actually Jack from Jack in the Box says that they're two separate habits, which I really like. The book buying hobby and then the reading hobby are two separate habits. So yeah, as a reader, it can be inexpensive, but if you're into book buying, it might not be that inexpensive. Nor says, the person who reads a lot of books at times, all those things are being reflected on a person's behavior and attitude and also on his own life. It makes him or her learn the way to lead a good life. Depending on the books the person reads, he may develop positive or else negativity. Understanding human relations can also be developed this way. The only message which I wanted to convey is that it reflects on the behavior or personality of a human. I would say it's definitely impacted my understanding of the world and people's interactions and human behavior. But I don't necessarily agree that it's going to shift your personality. I think it will make you understand the world around you more and may make you more understanding, more empathetic. There's definitely some research studies that show that. But if you read a book about a negative person, I don't think that's going to make you negative. Or if you read a book about a positive person, not necessarily going to make you positive. Deepak Singh Bisht says, what do you mean? Question mark. I read a lot because I love reading instead of drinking beer or wasting away my life doing drugs or some more pathetic activities. Ooh, that feels a little defensive. Reading expands my mind. It gives me an edge that anyone else who does not read. I know a lot about the world and the people. I know a lot about how to solve my problems, when to talk, when to not, when to fight it, and when to let go. I like the quotes this person's included. A mind needs books as a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge. The man who does not read has no advantage over the man who cannot read. I don't think that's true. There are people in this world who have not had access to learning how to read, and they can still be super intuitive, thoughtful, resourceful people. I think being able to read definitely gives you an advantage in the modern world, but I don't think you would have no advantage over someone who can read. No, Mark Twain, I don't agree with that. Okay. Narayanan says they are hungry for knowledge. To arrive at a better decision, we require a lot of information. Hence, it is good as a habit. If they write their analytical answers, it will be useful up for all. So this feels a lot more like nonfiction readers, these last couple, like informing our decisions, informing how we move through the world. I definitely think on some level we as readers are hungry for knowledge, whether it's nonfiction knowledge or just knowledge of other worlds. Savitha says, thanks for the request to answer. I just think they love reading as a hobby. They like to be in the company of books rather than being with people. I would agree with that one. Although I could picture a really beautiful, cozy day sitting with all your friends reading or sitting with your partner reading. So I don't think for me it's necessary about not being in the company of other people, but just enjoying the time that I'm having. Sherry Wilkerson says, I'm one of those kinds of people, so I'm of a neutral opinion. I don't think anything of anyone until they make themselves known to me. Okay. Let's check out some of these related questions. What do you think? It has been said that people who read a lot of books are very smart. What kind of books are they reading to get this response from people? Are people who read a lot of books usually introverts? What happens when you read a lot? How can you tell if someone reads a lot just by talking to them? Let's check out, what does reading a lot of books do to your mind? John Michael Domingo, this dot represents an idea. A line between dots represents a connection between ideas. Reading books gives your brains more dots to work with. Gives your brain more dots to work with. Then it helps you connect these dots. The more connections you have, the more you understand the world around you. Keep connecting the dots. Keep reading books. I love that. That is a great explanation. Thank you, John. Let's definitely upvote that. Dwanigan Michael also says, reading consistently strengthens connections in the brain, improves memory, concentration, may even help you live longer. There's nothing like sitting down with a good book. I love all these. Okay, so, ooh. How many books do I need to read in a year to be considered a bookworm? Peter says, I never realized there was an entrance requirement. To me, it's about the love of reading, not the quantity. Sophia says, I would say at least a book once a month. Freddie says, my personal definition is not the number of books. A bookworm is someone who is always reading one or more books. Natalie says, it depends on who you ask. I consider myself to be a bookworm, but sometimes read only one book in 3 months. Melissa says, I don't think being a bookworm is a quantitative thing. Being a bookworm is more about loving the act of reading and allowing books into your heart and mind. Saeed says, I firmly believe this can't be quantitative. Andrew says, I don't believe there's a minimum number. Yeah, so the consensus seems to be there's no general number to be a bookworm, and I think there are seasons of life too. I mean, you could have been the most avid reader when you were younger, and as life gets more busy or as you have more required reading and you kind of lose that love of leisure reading, you could still feel like a bookworm in your heart and not necessarily be reading actively every day and come back to it and ebb and flow. So to me, a bookworm is just somebody who has ever once in their life been lost in a book, transported to another world, and had that experience of being like fully immersed in a book. You're a bookworm. Congratulations.